They had to, guys. She was too good.
Yeah.
She would have won all of it. She would have carried player 222.
Yeah.
She would have slit the throat. She would have done it all.
Yeah, she would have
Guys.
done what she needed. Hi, my name is Amy.
Hi, my name is Lanan.
And welcome back to Bingeable Beans. Are you ready to stay up all night talking about Squid Game Season 3?
Speed summary time.
Squid Game Season 3 winner, chicken dinner. Drum roll, please. Who was the winner? A 3-day-old baby. A baby. Rewind, backtrack. How do we even end up here? It all started when the players attempted to end the games, but failed miserably, like losers.
So then, first game back. Player 388, dead. Player 007, dead. Player 120, dead. Player 222 broke her ankle. So what does she do to continue? She gave birth and reset as a baby. So next, they play a game within a game. A game of tug of war. Who gets the baby? Ji-hoon, the stranger? Or player 333, the baby daddy? Well, no one, because the baby is independent and won all the money by itself.
The baby did that.
Yep.
Can you imagine?
In case you haven't watched it, spoiler alert, too bad. Now you know who won. Some people were disappointed, but womp womp, that's what happened. Before we get into the baby, though, I do want to start off by talking about player 149, the mom of the mom and son duo.
Mm-hmm.
Specifically about her turning her own light switch off. Just watching through clips of people talking about Squid Game and people's opinions, I saw some comments saying that they were like, why did she like turn off her own light switch? You know, but I'm like, it's pretty understandable why she would, right?
Well, when people like turn off their light switch, everyone's gonna ask like why they do that. Obviously, I don't think there is like any reason in the world you should do that, but like you can't explain that. Obviously, she ended her son's life, and so that would like drive her crazy.
Yeah.
There's no point of her. I'm not saying no point of her continuing her light, but it's just like why would you like
it? Well, me, it's like, in my opinion, it just would have been so difficult, right? Like, I'm not a mother myself, but just thinking about, like, let's say you have, a close friend or close family member, and you took part in their death.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, how could you live on knowing that you did that? That's a really difficult thing to live on with, and especially when it's your own son. Like, as a mother, things are completely different, and she's also really old. You know what I mean?
Yeah, old, yeah.
So she's thinking like, I've experienced life so much already. My son only got to experience part of his life, and now I took part in ending that early for him. And then like the whole Squid Game in general, probably so traumatized from that. So if somehow she made it out alive, I feel like she would have gone crazy.
You think if it was the other way around, where her son took his mom's light away, you think he would have continued his life?
I think he might have. Not because he's selfish, right? But I feel like he would have thought of it as in a POV of, well, she went through all of that. I already did that. I need to make her proud now.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like he might take that route. It might have like gave in fuel to his like motivation. He would have been riled up, I feel like, instead of doing that. But I mean, we'll never know because that's not what happened in the show there. What did happen though was player 222, which is the next person that I do want to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
She was the one that was pregnant, and we saw that already in season 2, right?
Mm-hmm.
And this season, I feel like her being pregnant was a really big, one of the bigger focal points, because like we said at the beginning, the baby won. The baby as in player 222's baby.
Mm-hmm.
You know, one kind of side note that I will have to say, I feel like that baby must have had infections or something. I get it. He was trying to protect that baby, and really good, you know, really good humanity. You know, he had a lot of that. But think about it here, okay? The way she gave birth in that dirty ass room.
No resources.
No resources. And like, mind you, up to this point, she's barely got any nutrition as well.
Yeah.
You know, and she's been traumatized. A mother, like what she goes through during pregnancy affects the baby so much that I'm like, she went through trauma. She was so upset. I've like barely ever saw her smiling. She barely ate food. I think they just got like 4 potatoes the whole damn season. And so I'm just like,
yeah, I'm thinking also like she was stressing a lot because she has to play through these like life or death situation games, and carrying that baby. Yeah, it's like, I think it happens when you're so stressed you could kill the baby.
no, for
so
sure.
it's a miracle how the baby came out alive.
Yes. And then on top of that, that room is filled with like other people's blood.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, the baby must have had infections. Unless, I don't know, the guards were like right after the game, when the baby came out, they're like, oh, okay, here's some alcohol, here's some disinfectant, like we're gonna clean the baby up.
Maybe.
Maybe. Like, how do you feel that the baby took over player 222's
Life
role in the game?
Oh yeah, so whenever 222 the baby's mother died, they actually didn't consider the baby as a player originally. They just decided to.
It was the VIPs. They were
Yeah.
like, ooh, let's make things interesting. Why don't you make the player or something like that? I don't know.
Yeah. After 22 died, they're like, okay, the baby's gonna be 222. I think, I don't know. It's kind of fucked because the baby is at a disadvantage because it is a baby.
Is it really though?
Wait, so why do you think it's not a disadvantage?
I was talking to Amy about this whenever like we were watching whatever, about how the baby low-key, obviously at first sight you know it's obvious the baby's at disadvantage. It can't even play for itself. But if you think about it, it skipped all the other games. It didn't have to do anything.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't have to do anything the whole time it was there.
Yeah.
Beginning to end, it just won. And people automatically were protecting the baby and automatically were sympathetic towards the baby. I'm just saying. But obviously, in reality, it was at a disadvantage. And a lot of risk.
Yeah.
Because how the baby gonna survive. But,
Yeah.
I think it definitely added a lot to this season. Having the baby in
There.
there.
I mean, it's so
pregnant-
complicated.
Yes.
Because Jihoon, who was protecting the baby in the middle of it, after the tutu died, mother's baby died, and then the mother of player 149 is the mom.
Yeah, the mother of...
Because like they were the two main caretakers for the baby, but after both of them died, Jihoon was like, okay, I feel responsibility. Also, first off, he was going insane because he wasn't talking in the beginning of the season where it started, where he like failed with the revenge plan of taking over the whole game. After he felt that, he was like going insane.
And then felt oh yeah, because you were mentioning the fail thing.
Yeah.
I think it's because he felt like an immense amount of guilt.
That he killed all those players.
Yeah,
for
like
no
it was
reason.
his part, because people were saying things too. They're like, "This is your fault. You were trying to be hero, and this, and that." But look at what happened now. We ended up back at the same place, continuing these games.
Yeah.
So he definitely holds all of that weight for sure.
I'm not sure. I guess Gil, but he was like going insane. Like either he was like super sad and upset, or just over it, or like I thought he was like going insane.
Probably everything at once.
But then whenever player 149 was talking to him, like trying to talk sense, not talk sense, but yeah, he was going insane. He was like handcuffed to the bed actually. Oh wow, 149 was talking to him. She was like, can you please look after the baby? And he's like, I can't do that. And then she was like, please, please, please. And that's when she killed herself. And I think he realized, he was like, yeah, I have to do something. His humanity thing kicked in. And for the rest of the game, he was protecting it to the very end, to the point where he had to kill himself, to end his own life, like by jumping off the pillar.
Yeah. And I think part of that, the whole, like, when he like woke up, you know what I mean? I think what he just remembered why he was in there in the first place, even though he was so stumped about the failure of the battle.
Yeah.
He was like, well, the point of me being in here was to try to save people. So if that didn't go through, let me still see what I could do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Save the people that are left. Yeah. And then a baby, it's usually the three like priority, I feel like, in society is babies, old people, and then pregnant women.
Yeah.
You know, and they had all of that in here.
Yeah.
So it just made everything really, really complicated here. And then moving on to, you said the pillar part, like the very last game, another really, really big factor in that game specifically was player 333, the baby's dad. This is when he reveals to all the other players that I'm the baby's dad. Because remember, like, up until this point, the only person that knows he's the baby daddy is obviously the baby's mom, and then I think people were saying Thanos from season 2. He didn't, I don't think it was confirmed, but he just knew that they had a thing, you know, so he probably put 2 and 2 together. But yeah, other than that, not even the mom, not even player 149 knew, not even Jihoon knew that player 333 was the baby daddy, you know. And people had there's a lot of debate going around about player 333, and people are saying he's just pure evil. He's greedy. He would, you know, literally sacrifice his own baby's life for money. That's what people are saying. But I would like to kind of disagree. I do see where people are coming from, but I feel like there's also another side of it as well.
You said he was misunderstood. I agree with everyone else that's saying that. The way he handled everything, he was like a coward. Of course, why would before player 222, baby's mom, before she died, she trusted him for a bit. She was like listening to him. Player 33 was telling her like, I will get us out of here. I'm gonna get you, the baby, me out of here with the money, you know, don't worry, I got us. But I think time after time he kept failing to prove to her, to the point where she's just over it and telling him like, yeah, you suck, I don't want to see you ever again. He effed up. And like there's a reason why she doesn't want to see him anymore. And then after player 222 died, when he had the chance to protect the baby, at first I'm like, okay, maybe he needs to pull it together and protect the baby, no matter at what cost, you know. And I think I was like seeing it, I was like, okay, yeah, maybe he's a little scared, but he's trying, you know, at least he's trying. Until we get to the pillar games, that's when I started getting confused, because Jihoon, after defeating all those like evil men, pushing them off the pillar, they were left where player 333 was poking a stick, like the same big giant stick, to knock Jihoon over, but he wanted the baby, like he wanted to trade the baby in. And like they're just like arguing back and forth, and Jihoon's like, I'm here to like work with you. I don't know. He was just like confused, like why he's doing this, and like he wants to protect the baby. Jihoon doesn't trust 333. Obviously, because he's going insane, you know? And yeah, so somehow Jihoon's able to cross the pillar. He jumps over, but they're fighting over the baby at this point. At another point, player 333 is holding the baby over the pillar, like basically, I'm gonna drop the baby. Like, I will do it. Like, and he's like, you know, crying and going crazy, you know? And I'm just like, bro, what the heck? Like, calm down. Like, calm down, calm down. Like, let's not, make haste. But I think whenever Lennon had mentioned, I think he is misunderstood and maybe he's like going through it, I could see that. I don't think if he really was malicious and evil, he would had cried or like was that in that stress and that emotional holding that baby up.
Yes, that's what I mean when I say he's misunderstood. I think that whenever at the very beginning when he saw her there, right, he didn't really want the baby. He was cowed for sure. But I think over time he slowly grew to accept the fact, and he did genuinely want to get her out of there with the money. Keyword, with the money, though.
Yeah,
he still wanted the money.
Yeah.
And then the moment where she died, I think he went a little crazy. Not crazy, but just internally he was probably thinking a lot about the situation. You know what I mean? The fact that he failed to do that, and now he has to continue blah, 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 right? And then when we get to that last game, when he finally reveals it to everybody, I'm like, if he was fully malicious,
he wouldn't have revealed.
Yes, because then he was kind of put at a disadvantage. I don't know the intent. Maybe what he's trying to do is get the baby and use the baby to win the game.
Yeah, that's what I thought too.
That can happen, but I'm just still, I'm not buying that as much as him genuinely wanting to like get the baby for himself. Maybe he just wanted to hold the baby, It was his own baby. Think about it.
You did mention another thing, like, maybe he also wasn't sure he wanted the baby.
Yes.
Because it's not a baby that he wanted in the first place.
Yeah, so let me elaborate on that. Because, so later in that game, he is saying how, so he gets to the third pillar, right? And then he finally holds the baby. Sorry, I feel like I need to sneeze. Okay, I'm good. He finally holds the baby and he starts bawling. And I feel like in that moment, gears shifted in his head for sure. It was probably so many mixed emotions that he's feeling, right? For one, is probably emphasized the fact that player 222 is not here anymore. And then another fact is that he failed to protect player 222. And then another third fact, just a simple one, is the fact that that is his own baby that he's holding. He's like, oh my gosh, I'm a dad. And then another thing is like, this is the first time he's holding his baby since the baby was born. Everybody else has held the baby except the actual baby daddy.
And also at the point where he's at the end of the game where he's like, he has the baby and like he's like scared about all these things like dying and
so
all the stake.
I'm just and then the part where you were saying when he was holding the baby off, right? For me, I saw him. He was screaming. He was like, "You think I won't do it? I'll drop the baby." He was threatening Jihoon, right? And then obviously people saw that as straight up malicious because surface level, yes, it is very malicious to hold a baby and threaten it point blank. But I feel like whenever he was saying the stuff out loud, it was almost convincing himself as well that he could detach from the baby. He kept saying, he's like, "You think I won't do it? I will. I will." I feel like he was fighting himself for sure.
Like
in my opinion.
You think that he's trying to prove to himself, right?
Yeah, that he's reminding himself verbally out loud that, yes, I could just detach from this baby and get the money. Because that's what he wanted, the part of him. But I think he went back and forth because he's not straight up malicious. A part of him is still human. He's like, this is my baby.
This is really kind of relating to that, but kind of random. There's an argument that is going around. It's still basically, who do you save, the mom or the baby? And all the guys always say the mom. So I think whenever we were just talking about how like, would he have dropped the baby, I think maybe he would, because like I think he cared about 222 more than the baby.
And you know what I think it is that makes the guys always say that, unlike the mom, right? Because the mom has a certain connection to the baby that the father doesn't.
Yeah.
You know, the father, to them, this is a stranger. You lack for a better word. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
To them, this is a stranger. But to the mom, the baby was literally inside of her. You feel the emotion, and you've carried this weight for 9 months already. So this baby is not a stranger to you, and you automatically have this bond with the baby. So motherly instinct is always different from a father.
They also say why they argue that why would they would say the wife, the mom, because they said I can't make another of that person. I could always make another baby,
which is really messed up either way.
Yeah,
it really messed up either way. Don't get me wrong, but I hear that a lot. Yeah, they always say that. And again, I think it's because they don't have that connection.
Yeah.
To them, that just proves it more that to them, the baby is just a stranger.
Yeah.
You see what I mean?
Mm-hmm. But yeah, in the end, the baby won. Oh, the effed up thing about this, where I was like, they didn't press the button. Ji-hoon didn't press the button when they were fighting over the baby because he was focused on protecting the baby.
Yeah.
So when he finally he pushed off 333 and 333 died. They still had to press the button to continue the game, and someone needed to fall off the pillar, and Ji-hoon had jumped off. So why did he do that? That's the question. And I'm like, because backtrack to whenever they were in the room right before this very last game, I hated this so much. He had the opportunity to use that knife that the frontman gave him to slice the throats of all these men so he could just win the whole game, or take the money, go home without playing the game. But he decided not to because of humanity, morals, that's not right, And I'm like, either way he still had to kill those men anyways on the pillar. So he basically just wasted a bunch of stress, wasted a bunch of time, risked the baby's life just for him to kill himself. I'm just like,
yeah, a lot of people thought that. And then, random, but people were saying, you remember Sang-ho from the first season? He was the runner-up for Squid Game season 1. He was friends with Ji-hoon as well.
Yeah.
And he was really smart. People were saying if Sang-ho was in this season, he would have slit the throats. He would have done it, and he would have gotten out. That's what people were saying. Because, let me backtrack. So, what you're saying with the whole, humanity thing, right?
Yeah.
I feel like he could have done that easily and got out with the baby.
Yeah.
But for Ji-hoon, that's not the point. The point wasn't winning or anything. The point was to save as much people as possible. I know, he ended up saving a whole lot of nobody.
Yeah.
It was just a baby. He didn't even save himself. But
yeah,
the point is, that wasn't his purpose. It wasn't to win, to get the money. It was to be a good person and the game. So that's hence why he didn't do that. And then he also couldn't have known that he would have had to fight them in the next game. I mean, he couldn't have fully known. You know what I mean? He was probably expecting to be able to convince them somehow to get out. He was still hanging on to that hope, I feel like, of being able to convince them, hey guys, okay, so I have a good plan. Let's get out of here. Let's all just say no, please. Just say no to continuing the game and we can get out of here. He was hanging on to that for sure. But again, and that's why some people were mad about the ending with the baby winning. Is because they're like, oh, humanity this, humanity that. But people need to remember that this show is to prove it's a message to society. That's the whole point of the show. The show isn't sole purpose of revenge. It has that, right? But that's not the sole purpose. It wasn't supposed to be a satisfying revenge or anything. And I feel like people should have known that going into it, because even before the season came out, the director himself tweeted, oh, the ending isn't necessarily a happy ending. Movies don't always have happy endings. And he was kind of just saying that's life.
I get basically the POV of people saying that. Yeah, I've been people tell me oh my god, this show sucks. The ending was so bad. But I disagree. I think it was good. Like everything was like good. Like it was a good plot twist ending. Even though the baby came out of nowhere, and it got to win even though it did nothing. But I think it wasn't like you said. What you were saying earlier. It's not bad. It makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, and one last thing that I do want to mention is Jihoon jumping off proved that people have a choice to do the right thing, no matter the situation. You know what I mean? Because people always use that excuse of, well, he had no other option. Like, he was in a stressful situation. He was abused. He was, he was abused. He was locked up. He was everything. And I'm like, see, even in a scenario like this where he witnessed so much, his brain could have been traumatized, flipped 180, everything. He still was able to choose the right thing to do. And obviously, it was the harder thing to do, but it is a choice nonetheless. That's my point. Yeah. But I think, like you said, like you were saying, though, that everything was good. They had a wide variety of different characters to represent different people and how they would react in a scenario like that. So I think it was really cool. It made it more interesting for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah. With that being said, jumping into rating time. The first one that we always rate is execution, I believe.
I gave it I think it's either a 7 or 6. But why? Because I think in the beginning I was actually really bored. Cause since season 2, since season 2, I thought it was kind of dragged out. Even though people might argue it's like necessary, it was continuing on to season 3. Like the boat people was still trying to figure it out, trying to find the island and like killing each other, and then killing each other. The Squid Games, they were still like, I'm like over it. People are just like dying, and like it is sad that where like the players like that we were attached to, like they were dying, but it still didn't make the plot interesting. It's just like over, like everyone's just dying. Like get to a point already. Like take over the games or not, So in the beginning it was still dragged down, but towards the end I'm like, oh, this is interesting. So 7. Yeah.
For me, execution, I think I give it an 8. And the reason it's not any higher is because, one, like you mentioned, the boat people, it still felt random. I get why it's there. I get the purpose. Maybe I'm not a film director, film expert, but maybe it could have been placed better or something. A lot of people were saying that it felt like a commercial break when you got the scene of these boat people, and honestly it did feel like that. It was super random, and then the CGI was horrible. I'm just saying that baby did not believe that didn't look believable to me. I feel like they wasted the budget on everything else.
Yeah.
That's all I have to say about that, I guess. But I do like the characters and I appreciate the message.
Yeah.
Okay, next rating is bingeability.
Bingeability, I give it I guess 7 again. No, a 6. That's kind of like relating to my last rating. Why? Because it's like it was kind of boring. So a 6. I'm not gonna explain it.
We understand why. You explained enough. Yeah, bingeability for me, I think I put it. I think I put it at 7, just because I did watch it. I could relatively binged it, and I liked it. No, I give it a 7.5 because I actually liked this season more than the second one. I don't know why, but I liked it better. Low key. And then last but not least, our overall rating of everything. I think we know your answer.
I guess 7.
I think I did say bingeability was 7.5, but I give it 8.5. I bump it up a bit for everything added together just because I really like the characters. I think they executed the characters themselves well.
Yeah,
you know?
the characters themselves are really good.
Were really good. I loved Player 120. And people would argue, like, oh my gosh, they killed her so early. But I think they had to, guys. She was too good.
Yeah.
She would have won all of it. She would have carried Player 222.
Yeah.
She would have slit the throat. She would have done it all.
Yeah, she would have. She would have
Guys.
done what it needed to be done. Jihoon, yeah, she's honestly better than Jihoon. Yeah,
But again, I appreciate Jihoon. You know, he proved a big
Yeah.
message. Him jumping off and his last words being "humans are," and just leaving it blank. It was quite impactful. It was really good. They did a good job with that. I think that's all I have to say. Was Squid Game? Squid Game is good. People who say they don't like it, I have to respectfully disagree. But to each their own,
yeah. To each their own.
for sure. I enjoyed it. Apparently, there's more to come? Question mark.
In America.
Yeah, like the end. People were saying it was confirmed at first, but then I saw something saying, "Oh, the director said no. That doesn't mean we're making a season 4." So I don't know. I wonder if they do make a season 4, will it actually still be interesting, or is it one of those things where it'll just be too dragged out? And like,
It's always like that.
Yeah.
It's
but there are some movies, some franchises that are able to do so many of them. Like Hunger Games, they have made
Oh,
so
yeah.
many movies, you know.
that's
So
true. That's
you
true.
never know, but it better be really, really, really good. You better whip out a whole new set of characters, a whole new, maybe like aliens join the game or something. I don't know, cause
Because the concept of Squid Game is getting redundant.
yeah, it's so funny. We're like wrapping it up, but I want to add in this one comment because I thought it was so funny. People were talking about the cast for American Squid Games. They were saying, I better not see Leonardo DiCaprio as one of the players because they just won't believe that Leonardo DiCaprio is broke. Or you have like Ariana Grande playing as one of the players. Like, ain't nobody gonna believe that, bro. That's too funny.
Unless they dress them as like homeless in distress.
But the thing is, like, you're still gonna see through that. You know what I
like,
mean?
oh my god, it's Ariana Grande.
Yeah. Unless you wear prosthetics every single day of filming and you look like a whole
New
different
person.
then
Then
okay.
maybe.
But I'm like,
Is that Will Smith?
yeah, I'll still be like Leonardo DiCaprio, Titanic. That's all I will see, bro.
Okay.
With that being said, we're done for today, but not done forever. We have exciting things coming up. Similar to how Squid Game is mentioning American things, we perhaps might be branching out as well.
Oh yeah. We might be.
Perhaps. But I'm really excited for that. And you should be really excited for it too, because America has been talking about this for these past few months. So perhaps we will be too. Right?
Right. Yeah.
With that being said, you want to close it off with your
Yeah.
lovely lullaby?
Yes. Close your eyes. Shut your mouth. Dream a dream. Dream us out. Dream, dream, dream.